Welcome to Joy of Business Radio, hosted by Joy of Business Facilitators from around the world, with special shows from Simone Milasas, the founder and creator of Joy of Business. Are you bored or dissatisfied with your work or business? Joy of Business is an invitation to a completely new way of creating. Did you know your business and job can actually be fun and joyful? If what you are currently doing isn't working for you, listen into this show full of pragmatic tools from Access Consciousness, which change everything in business, from money to finance, staff, creativity, productivity, communication, and beyond. Joy of Business Radio, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Joy of Business on OMTimes Radio Show. I am Rebecca Hulse, and I have with me one of my favorite hijackers, although we're not hijacking the show anymore because we're on here as our own right as Joy of Business Facilitators. I have Megan Hill with me. Hey, Megan.
Hey, Rebecca. I like that we can still consider ourselves hijackers, you know? It's kind of fun.
I think we should always consider ourselves hijackers. I think that's one of the joys of it.
Exactly.
So this show today is actually going to be about a topic that I don't think we've covered yet. It's about unwinding. You know, we talk about, having fun with your everyday and with, every part of your business, but we haven't talked about not getting so hyped up and actually just, chilling out, which is something that you are starting to talk about more, which is I'm really excited about. So I jumped and I said, Megan, come on, let's do this, like right away, as soon as possible. And you said yes, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that we should talk about what does it actually mean to unwind to you, because it's a new topic for us here.
Yeah, It's very funny. I had the joy and the pleasure of attending the recent Joy of Business Facilitator training, and I had a lot of reasons and excuses as to why I couldn't start my own stuff, like classes and facilitating different things. And I have like a list of topics that I would love to facilitate on, and I just never created time for me, in my amazing, lovely life that I have. And so this is a topic that's up for me with everything that I create with Access, within the Access business, with Access events. I so see where people, they just get wound up in their life, and it stops creation so quickly that it's kind of crazy, like if you get all wound up, if you get all like uptight and stressed out, everything stops. And the beauty of the Access tools is that, like, within, a second, a millisecond, you can, like, get to what is actually going on for you or for something that comes up in your life or in your business. And when you get to that space, then everything becomes possible. So the conversation for me is truly, like, how do we actually get people to this level of relaxation with creation so that they can actually access way more possibilities.
I love this. Relax into creating. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
Like, you can already get a sense of the energy of like, okay, like you can get into your groove. You can get into your own way of doing things instead of, oh my God, I have to do this and this and this and this and this, and staying on that, high strung kind of level.
Yeah. And some people, I know, like, in the business, I was just going to say, in the business sense, a lot of people think that if they are high-strung and stressed out, then that means they're creating. It's like, then they've got a lot going on. And what if you can have a lot going on and a lot to create, and, the speed with what you're creating without the stress and the agitation and the frustration and the freak out?
Nice. This is cool. This gets me excited. So what's one way that you've been relaxing into creation?
I mean, one huge way is, number one, who does it belong to? So if you notice that when you walk into a meeting or you hop on a conference call or you walk into a space and you were, you didn't have anything necessarily going on for you that day, you were kind of happy for no reason, and then all of a sudden you get wound up and sort of like, there's just this energy. I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like grr, you know what I mean? Like everyone wants to bite each other and like scratch and growl, or, like all that
yes.
that energy that comes up. So who does it belong to is huge. And it may not be one person. It may be like this thing that gets created when this group of people gets together. So I typically say, okay, like if I've recently started doing this more, is, okay, who does it actually belong to? And what would I like to choose to be in this energy? So if that's like this group energy going on, what else is possible? What would I like to choose? Because if you choose to be this space and this relaxation, that actually dominates that stressful freak out, or you're not at the effect of it. So like, Gary Douglas is amazing. He's the creator of Access Consciousness. If you're ever around him and, like everyone else is like stressing out, the second you get around him, it's like, there's no problem. Nothing, like everything's ease. And it's just the space that he be. And I started noticing that, if I would have a conversation with him or if I'd be around him, and I'm like, okay, cool. So what would it take for me to be that? And I started asking that, and that's how this kind of came into existence, because it's the space that is, there's so much ease there. And why go into the drama and the stress and the freak out if you don't have to? But most people don't know that it's a choice.
And, well, now at least the listeners here, they do know that it is a choice, and it's available for them with a few simple questions and tools. So, ta-da, surprise, happy birthday. You now have a new tool. But that, who does it belong to? And, like, it comes up over and over again, and I know we sound like a broken record now at this stage on this show, but it's because it works. And the other thing is that's really surprising is it surprises us all the time with how much it works, and it seems to work better and better till we're like, oh my gosh, this tool works. I've known about this tool for years, but it still works, and it's awesome and amazing, and it gets us excited.
And it's also, this, I think I've heard a lot of people that they're like, oh my God, they said to me like, oh, I watch you and you seem like you're just so calm all the time. And it's definitely not the case. Like I get wound up. I get like this thing that occurs where you don't see what's possible. You're kind of like, there's a dark cloud over you or something. And I think what's key to remember is that you don't, if you're choosing consciousness, if you're choosing to explore what else is possible, you're not always going to have like sunny, beautiful, amazing days. Like when you choose something, so say you've taken a class or you've recently, asked for something in your life, everything that's in the way of that occurring and showing up starts coming up for you to choose past. And one thing that for me is what I started to look at is like, okay, that place where you get frustrated and wound up and like stressed out and cranky, if it's not, who does it belong to? It's also, okay, what's showing up for me to actually look at and change and choose differently? So what if this energy that is, stirring up, what if you can expand beyond it? And one other great way to do this is, because of course I chose to do this telecall last minute and just was like, yep, let's go for it. And then my entire world became like wound up, which is funny. And I had an amazing friend named Simone Millicis, which maybe you've heard of her. And yesterday I was like so up, like just like stressed out, and I was like, I think I'm just really cranky and I just need to go have a glass of wine. She's like, maybe you also need your bars run. And I'm like, yes, I do. So I had my bars run this morning and everything's great. It's like nothing is a problem anymore. So who does it belong to? Access bars, phone a friend, have a glass of wine. Like those are all really great ways to sort of unwind you from that space where you can't see that something else might be possible, which then allows you to then get to the space where you can ask a question or actually have a conversation with someone that opens up a possibility. But if you're always looking to sort of like, okay, what's up here? Like, what's going on? Then we can get to this space. And that's what I hope for this telecall to be that I'm having, is really to, like, give people the tools. Because I know, Emily, I want to call you Emily. Rebecca, you work with access events and classes. And I would say a lot of what we do is help people, you know, basically, like, relax into what they're creating. Because sometimes that stress out, you know, that's not going to create things. So, or create what people would like to have. So that's, I guess that's sort of where it's at now. We'll see what happens because the call starts next week.
I'm excited. And if you want to know more about that, you can email Megan at accessconsciousness.com, or you can check out the event on Facebook. It's Megan Hill, and you'll see lots of pictures about, you know, this beautiful, it took me a while to realize in the graphic that it's actually a cork from a wine bottle and a wine screw behind it on Unwind, and I was like, that's awesome. Unwind the bottle and unwind yourself.
Exactly, and you know that sense of when the you know the cork pops out of the bottle. That's that sense of space you get when you like unpop yourself out of the thing that you wound yourself up into.
So is this a win-loss minimum class?
It is whatever works for you. Let's have fun. Let's, you know, exactly like you said, chill out and bring up the freak out and like, let's look at what's really going on. And I bet most of the time it's so funny. Within the first 5 minutes, 90% of it was one big who does it belong to. So
yes,
we will.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited. I'm excited in what you're going to explore, and I love that you're actually doing this too. I mean, I don't. The last time that I knew you're creating a telecall or a class, it was amazing and it was epic, and I'm excited that you're back on the bandwagon.
And it was a billion years ago. It was like, you know, back in the 80s or something.
Maybe not that far. I mean, I don't see shoulder pads or perms in the equation, but definitely a while ago. Brushing off the cobwebs for sure.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I wonder. I've been attempting to not leave on so many cliffhangers. As the audience now knows, Megan and I wing whenever these breaks are. Like, we absolutely wing it. There's other people that have timers and they have a sense of the show and exactly what's going on, but as hijackers, you know, professional hijackers, we just wing the show completely. So it makes me wonder, what are some of the situations that people can start to get wound up where they actually don't know that they're wound up? Like, if you look at, you know, when Simone said to you,
traffic.
When did you get, like, your birth run? Traffic. I like that. That's definitely a good one. Monday mornings or Sunday evenings,
like, you may not get wrapped up into the fact that it's Monday or Sunday, but a lot of the world does, and you pick up on it. So notice how, if you're cranky on a Monday or if you're sitting in traffic, and with parenting,
you're going to have to hear the story off the break, because we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger, as promised. Megan Hill, Rebecca Hulse, OMTimes Radio Show.
No one needs to have a money problem, especially you.
Yeah, did you hear that? You have an unlimited and mostly unaccessed capacity to create money and a financial reality that works for you. Simone Milasas has a brand new book. It's called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. And right now, when you go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com, if you pre-order the book, you'll get a free online course. What if you can create money in ways no one else can? Just go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com to get your copy today.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Welcome back to the show, the Joy of Business OMTimes Radio Show, where we are talking about unwinding. And I have Megan Hill on the phone with me. And true to form, we left on a cliffhanger talking about Mondays, which is a big unknown reason for getting wound up. So I think we should just continue our story, put you out of your misery.
Yes, so you asked me what are the places and spaces and times when people get wound up and they don't even know it. I would say also, as I said, in traffic on uncertain days like Monday or holidays, just general times of days or weeks when people in the world get wound up for absolutely no reason, but you sense it and you take it on as yours. Notice when maybe news is coming out in the world or in your area of the world and people get all freaked out by it. What else? In your relationships, if your partner is stressed, you might be picking up on that. In general, just look at where your body tenses up. What is it? If you're on a phone call, does your body get really tense when somebody's talking about something? And who does that belong to? So what if you're just one big awareness unit and you're picking up on all these little things that people have wound up in their world?
Such a different way to look
Rebecca,
at this.
When do you notice you get wound up and it's
well,
not
one of the times that I do
you?
notice I get wound up is often when it is when it's tax time in different financial areas, because I work in a few different businesses which all have different tax times, and it's very obvious to me that March and April, and because that's the time in New Zealand, is this what's happening with money, what's happening with money, what's happening with money. And I was like, but I'm fine. I'm good. I have a good financial reality, but that sneaking suspicion and feeling can kind of come into your world because everyone's freaking out about the taxes that they need to pay. So that's one of the hidden areas that's no, I don't have a money problem. This is not mine. Can you go and look at some of your jewelry for a second, or your bank account, and you'll see that it's there. It's all there. Nothing happened to it. You're just freaking out over nothing. So that's one of the ways when I went.
And if you feel it, it's real. That's what people say.
Very
if you
real.
Feel the freak out. It's very real,
Yeah.
But what if feelings are actually not real and it's your body just sensing the world around you?
And one of the things that happened really recently, actually, is Simone went viral with some articles and turned the whole world up by storm. And I was in this massive freak out, but I thought I was just getting through it and doing this and doing that, and I was kind of taking all the actions dun 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 dun, and the freak out was in the back of my mind. And then our PR agent rang me and she's like, "Hey, how are you doing with this?" And I was like, "Oh my God," all the tears came out and the freak out that I'd been suppressing behind the scenes. And she was like, "Do you know how many people are in a total uproar about this? They are so upset that it could be easy, that it could be different, that it could be something other than what they've decided it is. And they are raging against it. So what if this isn't actually yours and you're just aware of at this stage, millions of people around the world, having their whole world basically screwed up because they didn't want to look at what could be true for them. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, and that's such a brilliant example, because what did they do? They actually, all of them wound up instead of actually like looking at, okay, what else is possible? How could this question, how could this possibility, how could everything that she's talking about actually assist me in unwinding everywhere I've decided I'm right or I'm wrong, or, or what's possible.
Exactly. So that was, I think, one of the biggest examples of being aware of, because it sneaks up on you, and it's not really like a thing that you can see a lot of the time. It's something that can be really behind the scenes, but it affects everything that you're doing. And so when you start to become like aware of where you're tensing up and you're getting stressed out and you're doing things that you have no reason to do, then you can start to see that, okay, cool. I'm doing this weird thing again. Okay, what can I do? Okay, I could ask a question. Who does this belong to? Oh, okay, that lightened up. Okay, what else I could do? Okay, relax. Like, just relax into my body again. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hi, buddy. Oh, sorry. We've been like hunching over a computer for 8 hours trying to figure this out. And your body's going, please help me. Please help me. Come on. Could we just like stand for a bit or something? No, we're working. No, we're working. And when you see that, you can go, oh, okay. Well, it wouldn't hurt to, stand and text. Or, you could put your computer on a bench, like just simple things that when you're, you start to notice that you've gotten so wound up in your own world, and, you've got so many different contributions that are just there for you, like questions, like your body, like the universe, that you can, tap into again and have ease, joy, and glory instead of pain, suffering, and glory.
Yeah. Well, and that's such a key point. I would say the other huge place where what people use to wind themselves up is time. It's like, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough, and they freak themselves out when what's actually possible is asking a question like, how much space could I be? What space could I add here to create more? So there's always, I think the other point of this is there's always a question that you can ask. There's always another possibility, and there's always a space beyond that, the wound up place. And if this topic is resonating with you, it's, you may be somebody who occupies more space than the people around you. Just know that you might also have a capacity to change it and to invite people to be space. It's one of my favorite things it's kind of like a hidden superpower, I guess, of working with classes and events. When people are showing up on their first day, they have that wound up, like it's excitement. It's like, oh my God, my whole life is changing. Like it's all of that at once, and they can't categorize it. They can't figure out what's going on. And so that it sort of goes into that like wound up place. But it's, I know that you work with events too. Like if you're willing to be that space, then it allows everyone else to tap into it and access it if they choose. And there's so much more possible from that, from when you're being that. So
that's true, and it's so amazing. I think it's so cool too. I mean, like our events are getting bigger and bigger with Access Consciousness too, and there's more and more new people that are coming in with that energy. And I can say from the moment you wake up or the night before when there's an event, you can feel like the rush and the torrential energy of what is happening in everyone's world that's coming to their class, and learning how to be a space with that. And then it's interesting, the minute they walk in and interact with someone that's on the staff there, you can see them relax. You see them go, okay, this doesn't have to be a big deal. This doesn't have to be a big thing, and I can do this, and what a great thing to do with any of your clients, like no matter what kind of business you're in. If you have the capacity to put people at ease by your very presence, and here's a hint, you can do that simply by asking. Just one of those weird things that you can do because you can.
Don't give my tools away. Rebecca, they have to come on the telecall to get that one.
Right. Yes, you did not hear that. That will not be something that Megan will talk about, and she has no more tools like that up her sleeve, so we'll just cut this out.
So don't just give them away.
We'll cut this out of the audio. Oh, sorry, sneak peek, spoiler alerts. It's all coming out here. Unfortunately, we're not very good at keeping secrets. The one thing that I know we're not good at, Megan, is we can't keep a secret to save our life.
Nope,
just go,
not
secret,
at all.
secret here, secret here, secret here. And we're like, oh, what is it? Come, talk about it. But it is this thing that, to me, is an amazing capacity that you can have in your business because, you know, people want to work with people that make them feel good. They don't want to, I mean, if you have a choice of two people that you can work with for your business, do you want to work with someone that is unhappy and doesn't like what they do and you always feel really nervous when you go into the meeting and then afterwards you feel even more stressed out than before? Or do you want to work with someone that as soon as you walk in the door, you feel like they've got it covered and you're relaxed and you can have a generative conversation and you know you're going to create some really cool stuff together?
Yep, I'll have that one.
Exactly. I think we'll all have
I'll
that
be a part of creating it. Yeah, and just that energy that you were when you said that, it's so true. Now imagine a world like that. You know, imagine a world where it wasn't about the chaos. Like, it's so funny because everyone talks about, like, chaos now. I don't know if it's everywhere, but in the United States, it's like, oh, everything is chaos. And they get everyone hyped up and freaked out and feared up. And, you know, it's just crazy. So it's almost like that space is not, you know, it doesn't really exist in too many places. So if you are that in your business, or if you are that within, you know, your interaction with clients, you're what people are looking for. If you look at, I mean, people are truly, like, they're going to find meditation, they're trying to use exercise, they're trying to eat healthy, and they're looking for what I think is actually this, like, peace and this space of being in a body and in the world. And what if it's something that you guys can actually offer up by just being it? And then also, you know, you can ask questions and facilitate people into more of it. And a lot of times, you know, when I wound up about my shit, it's sometimes takes somebody else asking me some questions. So know that if you can't unwind yourself, it's okay. There's people like me and Rebecca and other facilitators who can help you unwind. Yeah.
So don't go away, unwind in the break, and we'll be back with more surprises and secrets, I'm sure.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue-collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Putting the fun back in business. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, repeat. Business, work, your job, hate it, bored, want to leave it? Or business, work, your job, fun, play, joy, fun. Which would you like to choose? You may not know this, but business, your job, work can actually be fun. Shake up your business routine. Check out my 3-part free video series on putting the fun back in business. Go to accessjoybusiness.com/fun and put the fun back in business.
connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Welcome back to Unwind, this Joy of Business OMTimes Radio Show episode, which is not hijacked, but is done by the professional hijackers, Megan Hill and Rebecca Hulse, myself. And we are talking about unwinding. I just have so much fun introducing us as professional hijackers. I think we need to do something on that. I forgot how much I liked it. Now I'm laughing too much. But we were talking in the break about, what other secrets can't we keep? And one of the things we realized is there's actually some really weird things that you can do that actually unwind and actually make you relax that you think shouldn't. Like, I remember when the subject of chaos came out, and all of us in Access immediately went yes, we can work with this. Yes, there's something about it that doesn't actually freak us out for some weird reason. It actually makes us, more relaxed, and we just want to, get into it. Like, yes, this is the energy that we know. This is one of the things that is, we're nailing this. We're great. Like, I get this. And it made me wonder, there has to be more of the weird ways that Megan knows about that is actually relaxing instead of more freaking.
Well, how many of you actually, when you don't have enough going on, go into your head and play with lots of thoughts that actually wind you up? So one of my favorite things to do is actually add more to my life. So if you have a lot of downtime, it's kind of like the opposite of what you would think. If you have a lot of downtime or time where you're not creating, you'll typically, if you're a head tripper like myself, you'll start creating just crap because you don't have enough going on in your life. So it may not seem like something that would, create more if you're just stressed out or wound up. But what I have found is even in those times where you're wound up and you don't know how you're going to get everything done, adding more is actually something strangely that can create more space. And everything that doesn't allow you to get beyond that sense of like freak out and stress out to the sense of space by just simply adding more can we destroy and then create it.
Yes.
All right, now I'm good about talking pot all night and short boys. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's weird. It's that whole thing of like if you're in quicksand, you have to actually move faster in order to not sink. And I would say it's the same thing. So, if you're somebody who gets stressed out easily, who gets, tripped up in your head easily, who is like wrapping yourself around, just useless stuff, maybe it's time to ask, like, what else can I add to my life? How many more things can I add to my life? What 10 things could I add to my life so that I stop, freaking myself out?
Exactly. This is such a great tool. Exactly. You don't have time anymore. I remember when I was, I was going through some stuff, and I was on a telecall, and I was like, oh my God, like this is happening, and this is happening, and I don't know what to do about this. And the facilitator asked me, they said, how many things do you have going right now, Rebecca? And I was like, maybe like 5. And they asked me, well, how many do you actually need? Like, what if you had 10 things? What if you had 15 things? What if you had 20 things on the go? And I went, wow, I know I should be freaked out by that, but I'm actually really excited. Like, that matches, like, the energy of what my life should be like. And I went, okay, cool. Like, what can I add? And I've been looking at making sure that I have like at least 10 things, and 15 is actually more where it's at for me because I'm a little weird to have on the go it all the time, and everything just gets like in this groove and it flows and you can get shit done, and it does something that makes your life kind of go round in an easy way.
Yeah. And most people, you know, when I was saying, I think we said at the beginning, like relax into it. But we're not talking about like relax and lay in a hammock all day so that you don't stress out. You know, like how many of you would like, actually that would, for me, if I had too much time doing nothing but relaxing, you know, on the beach, that would actually wind me up more than, you know, creating 25 things that day. So when we're talking about relax, like relaxing into what's possible, it's truly that space of like, okay, if you have 25 things to get done in one day, how, you know, like how much space would you have to create from? What speed would you have to create from? And when you're creating at that speed and space, almost everything becomes easier. It's really weird. I can't explain it besides challenge all of you listening to add more and see what happens. See what shows up.
That's our dare for you. Add something and see what happens.
Dare you.
And you exactly, double dog dare you. And also, you know what? Let us know how it goes as well. I mean, we do these radio shows, and we know that there's lots of downloads and that people listen to this. But sometimes we are kind of, you know, shouting to the wind, wondering what's happening there on the other side. So if you want, like, give us some feedback. You can always email OMTimes@accessjoyofbusiness.com. And we'd love to know, you know, what did you think of the show? Did you try a dare? What happened? How did it go? Because otherwise, we are, you know, we're great at talking, and we'll talk to each other all day. But, you know, we'd like to know that what we're saying is actually the kind of things that you want to hear. So the other thing that I thought was really interesting, and this is, now I'm just using Megan for my own personal questions. So sorry, guys. The show is all about me. But I wondered, how can you be relaxed and excited at the same time? Like, this seems like a little bit of an oxymoron.
Well, I would say allowing yourself to be excited is one of the best ways to like relax into it. So most of us have been taught from a very young age that fear is excitement. So I personally used to think I had a lot of anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety. I took pills, you know, like had the perfect cocktail for anxiety and depression. And it was always trying to basically keep me on this like super chilled out, you know, mood. And what was actually going on is I would get really, really excited, and I would think it was anxiety and fear and all this stuff, and it was actually just perceiving so many things. And so a lot of times people think the fear is excitement, excitement is fear, and what if it's not? So what if you actually get that energy that, like, I noticed it the last time we were around our horses in Costa Rica. When we would get there in the morning to ride horses, the Costa Rican horses have so much energy, and they're so excited to go on this run or this ride with us. And they would walk out, and I would feel my heartbeat like just going crazy. And I felt myself like tensing up, like, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm like, what's happening? And finally, by like the second or third day, I'm like, okay, oh my God, what is this? It's actually the energy they be. They be so much. They're so potent. There's so much space. They're so like excited about being alive and being a horse. And I was actually thinking that was like this weird energy of fear. So perceive it and allow that excitement, like whatever that is for you. Think of a time when, like, I don't know, Rebecca, if you have an example, but for me that was a really recent example where I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually excitement. I'm excited. They're excited. And let's relax into it and see what's possible instead of trying to like wind up and shut it down and get control.
That is a really great point. And that made me, yeah. But that's what it is, and that's how we function. Yeah. And I mean, one example that I have is, I mean, when I first started working with Access, I thought I was like really nervous to speak or to come up with an idea or contribute, but I was actually like really excited. Because I would, I would do it, and I'd be like, no, do I talk? No, everyone else is talking. No, do I talk? No, everyone else is talking. I don't have anything to contribute, and so I wouldn't. But then I would like talk to Simone or someone after, and I would be like, well, I know I didn't really contribute anything on this meeting, but I came up with this and this and this idea, and she would look at me like strangely, and well, that was like the point of the meeting.
Right.
To come up with like ideas like this, and I realized like, oh, I'm actually, I'm doing it. I'm actually, a contribution. I'm actually coming up with the kind of things that we're looking at, and I'm not an idiot, and I'm not coming up with these stupid things. I'm actually doing, a great job. So how else are you actually excited by what you can contribute?
Yeah, and how much do we use that winding up of you to not be you in those situations? Like you wanted to explode with excitement and like chatterbox your way through the whole meeting with all your great ideas, and instead, zipped it up to control and be appropriate according to some crazy thing you learned about business and meetings or something somewhere,
Exactly. And it makes me wonder, like, how many of these different things have we tried to contain or tried to make, different or tried to be appropriate? That is actually, one of the things that we're so good at that we could, let ourselves go and let ourselves have a different kind of way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, when you talked about the graphic for the telecall, like it was the wine bottle and the cork and that whole thing. And one thing that I noticed is if you don't wind yourself up, then you don't have that explosion. I'm sure everyone except for me, I never explode on people. But you've had those moments where it's like you have bottled up everything of you just to not offend people or not be too much, or, so that you take care of other people. Like you're always putting somebody else in the equation of your life, and so you bottle you up, and then one day you just want to explode. So what if you don't actually, like if you're actively asking and questioning and letting go of all this stuff and unwinding daily or weekly or whatever you want to talk about, then you don't actually have to explode, and everything, that posy is available always instead of in one big atomic explosion, which is awesome. But what if you don't have to do that? What if the insanity can actually turn into creation and space and fun instead of wound up stress?
Awesome.
And there's our music.
Don't explode. And we'll go to the break.
What do you hate about business? And do you want to change it? If you don't want to change anything about your job or business, stop listening. You're all good. If you'd like to have money just for the fun of it and stop the negative self-talk, check out Joy of Business. This is about knowing what you know about business and creating more than you can imagine. Access Joy of Business 101 classes offered around the world. Go to accessjoybusiness.com/101.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business. Join Elliot Jolish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jolish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And You're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jolish Hour. Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to our last part of this OMTimes radio show. Oh no, it's the end. Our hijacking time is almost over. What on earth are we going to talk about? What do we want to create on this last little segment? Possibilities are endless, Miss Megan. Surprise us.
Well, I did want to take a moment and just say thank you to the Joy of Business, to these shows, and to the Joy of Business classes, and to the amazing Simone, the creator of it all, because it's because of those classes that I'm actually creating more and creating this telecall. And you can so easily go through life and think that you don't have enough time, and you don't have space, and you don't have the systems to start a business, or these things that you would like to create, and you put them on the back burner. And so I attended the Joy of Business Certified Facilitator training in Napa last month, and it was just so amazing to actually sit in a room full of people and really look at what would we like to create, what businesses would we like to create, what fun would we like to infuse in the world. And so I just wanted to say that because of that class in particular, it gave me the space to really look at, okay, where am I not putting what I would like to create in my list of priorities, and where could I hire someone to actually help institute a few things that I don't have time for. Where could I add something? What could I change to actually create more space? And it's amazing because I also just think that you have to just start. So I don't, I hired someone who's amazing, and she's helping me get my shit together for my, I have a lot of stuff that I do with Access Business, but my personal business is, basically in spider webs right now. And so it's very cool because it's because of that I'm actually getting going. And Rebecca, you're amazing at that too. You're like this huge catalyst of getting people to choose something greater. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to the whole Joy of Business team because you inspire creation in a way that I'm not sure you guys get, and I'm very grateful for it.
Thanks, Megan. I'm not quite sure that we get it either. I didn't realize how much that we create or how much we all are catalysts until one of our Joy of Business staff members said at that facilitator training, well, we know when Rebecca's awake because she starts creating and wondering what's happening. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that it was that apparent when I was awake. But it makes us, I think, realize that we really don't know the kind of impact that we have. We had a Joy of Business consulting session with one of our new JCFs yesterday, and she was like, I haven't done this, and I haven't done that, and I haven't done this, and I was like, okay, here's a little PSA, public service announcement. I will come up with more things for you to do and create as a JCF than you will ever be able to complete in one lifetime. This is a challenge to any of the JCS that, if you can out-create me, come on, let's do it. Can you complete more things than I can ask you to create? But that's, to me, the joy of business. Always coming up with something new and creating and moving forward and working together. And if more businesses around the world can function like that, then we will leave this planet a very, very happy place.
Absolutely. And there's a whole new campaign you started, which is super cool, and it's Put the Fun Back in Business. And it was really fun, put the fun back, but it was really fun in that class to go through, ouch, I just hit my knee, to go through, to look at just different possibilities of businesses that we could actually talk to and offer, consulting sessions with or trainings with, because so many people are not having fun. They're just, the joy is not there. And I would say, looping it back into this telecall, if you're wound up, you lose the joy. So it's in that sense of relaxation and space and possibilities that you actually can have the fun and the joy in everything you're creating. So, you know, there's tons of tools, there's tons of classes, there's thousands of facilitators all over the world. The Joy of Business classes are some of the best ones if you actually want to get clear and get to what is actually going on in business. Like, you know, the tools of looking at a mover and a connector, and because I think sometimes people get so stressed out because they're actually putting people in jobs that they don't actually want to do. You know, it's like there's just so many tools that Joy of Business has that companies out there, if they had, like, everything would be easier. Everything would be possible, and people would be happier because they're actually creating something that they desire to do and that they're good at. So that's my plug, and I think it's just amazing and fun.
Me too. And hey, if you own a business or if you work in one that you think could do with a bit of putting the fun back in business, there are our facilitators are JCF will travel, you know, like they are up for anything. So if you want to ask them to your business, if you want to get them into your workplace, if you want us to, you know, pitch to your boss, you can also do that behind the scenes. If you don't want to, you know, do it publicly, send us an email and we'll make no mention of you whatsoever. What ad? We didn't, no ad that called us. No, we just thought that this might be appropriate. You know, we can do that, you know, and you can be on the inside of the joke, which is another way to put the fun back in business. So, Megan, we have approximately anywhere from, you know, 3 minutes to, I don't know. So I would like to know, like, what's one secret tool that you've been using that maybe people don't know you've been using behind the scenes when, let's say, you've been frustrated on meetings or trying to get things moving? What kind of secret tools can you give us? Pushing you to reveal more of your telecall now.
Yesterday when I was having a moment, I ended up just taking the morning today and creating space for me. So I went off my cell phone, I went off my computer, I got my bars run, and I literally just sort of unplugged for 3.5 hours, which is a lot for me. It was like an eternity to not be looking at my cell phone. But I think there are times when, you know, you just need to know that you may need a little bit of space from all that is, you know, going on in the world and getting created. Move your body. Like I've really been looking at and exploring, like, okay, but my body would like to move more. My body would like to be included in my creation instead of just sitting at a computer. So getting off the computer, getting off social a bit, and actually like getting out there and talking to people in person. I think with the way the world is going, it's like, you know, those one-on-one interactions or face-to-face interactions are going to become even more critical and something that creates far more than like our engagement with our laptops, you know. Doesn't mean we'll be letting go of our laptops any soon, but I think that everyone enjoys some of that one-on-one time with people, like actual people that you enjoy creating with. What else?
I would like to just share a secret thing that Megan gave to me once, because we just finished like a massive project and I was really tired, and I was talking about it with Megan and another person, and she was like, yeah, well, sometimes, you know, when we've created these big things, we haven't acknowledged how much energy we've put into it and how, you know, how much of you were putting into it. And it's okay if you need to, you know, be a vegetable and watch Netflix for a day, or if you need to sleep for 16 hours, or if you need to, you know, take a break and not look at your emails today or not look at social. Like, it's actually, like, sometimes you actually just need to take that time and almost, like, hibernate because you put so much energy into something. And it was one of those times that I went, wow, really? You can actually just let go.
Well, yeah, I think that, you know, one of the things is I loved Gary Douglas said one time, like, I don't know if I asked him a question in class or if he was just talking about it, but like we as as the people that we are, the seekers, the dreamers, nothing will ever be enough. This like level of unsatisfaction you have, dissatisfaction you have with everything that's getting created as though nothing is ever enough, that's actually one of your greatest talents and capacities, is because you're driven to create more than ever before. You're always looking at what else is possible, and it's a gift. And, you know, just taking that time to actually acknowledge what you have created, what you are creating, and also, giving you that space to just, you know, to recoup is definitely not a judgeable offense. It's okay. Definitely
and
okay.
Now that I've actually tried it, highly recommend it.
I recommend watching Billions and Homeland in 2 days.
There's your Netflix recommendations, too. See, you're getting the entire inside scoop on Megan today.
Exactly.
Speaking of the inside scoop, how are people going to find this amazing telecall you're doing? Any other projects that might be coming up in the future? What's one or two good places to find you?
Well, you can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Miss Megan Hill is where you'll find the telecall. That's my business page that I just now started creating because I needed to connect it to something. You know, social media, make you do things. But then my personal page is where I'm posting the most, and that is facebook.com/access Megan. And then my new favorite place to play is on Instagram. And I think you can find me under Megan Hill. I don't know I think it's Megs _
You're
Hill.
Access Megan.
But you know.
Oh, no, you're right.
Oh. Who knows what I am? But you can find me.
Search Megan Hill. And if not, ask Joy of Business. You know how to email Joy of Business, and then we will find her for you. How's that?
Exactly.
We'll
I make it really difficult. I want to just wind you up. So you have to find me.
So find Megan. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Rebecca.